and I created paddleplanner.com. I started this project about 10 years ago, and it wasn't called Paddle Planner back then. It was a personal project, and I was just getting tired of trying to figure out how long is it going to take me, with the string and map method to try and do that, put the string on the map and try to figure out how far it is. So I thought, well, someone had to have created something like Google Maps for canoeing to fit, so I could just, click and figure out how far it is. And I searched and I couldn't find anything. So I thought, well, I'll just create it myself. I am not a programmer by trade. That was my minor in college. I am actually an accountant. So I've learned a lot along the way trying to create this. And like I said, it was a personal project for a few years. And then someone came along named Jay. So Jay Harris, he came along and said, this is a great website. This is a great idea. You should turn it into a business. And I resisted it for a little while, but I finally gave in and said, yeah, you're right. I probably should. Jay is now my partner. And so we do this this together. I'll just share my screen now. So here's our website for now. In a few weeks, I'll show you a preview of what our new site is going to be. I started out covering the Boundary Waters and the Quetico. And I have expanded, and now we include Algonquin, Woodland Caribou, Apostle Islands, Sylvania, some Manitoba parks that are next to Woodland Caribou. And of course, brand new is Wabakimi. And it's been great partnering with the Friends of Wabakimi. They gave me access to their maps, and I'll just go to, here's the Friends of Wabakimi. And if we go to their map section, you're probably aware of their new Wabakimi Canoe Routes book and their famous map volumes. So those have been meticulously mapped over the course of a decade and a half or more. And so having access to this information was awesome, and trying to put this on Paddleplanner's website. So they have 5 map volumes that cover Wabakimi Provincial Park and the surrounding area. It is a huge area, and it's not just the provincial park. There's a lot of parks and crownlands surrounding it, which makes it a very interesting area. I just wanted to show you a little bit of, here we go. So what do the volumes look like? Here's some updated maps that they have, and it just gives you an idea of what is in these map books. So it has all the detailed routes and potential campsites. If I'm not mistaken, there are no designated campsites in Wabakimi. It's just trying to camp where you can, and these are potential places you could camp. Along with portages, some portages are maintained, some are not. I would say probably mostly not. These are approximations of where the portages are. So lots of great information about this not well-traveled area. I think there's only about 400 paddlers per year. So when you go up there, it's wilderness. There's almost no one up there. You probably won't see anybody on a trip. So a great area to be in. To make the area more accessible, the Friends of Wabakimi put together these maps and sent out people to map all of these areas. And then they worked with me with Paddleplanner to make it even more accessible on the internet to help you also with your planning. So our goal is is to get you up there and make this a little bit easier process to help get you out in the wilderness. So my goal was to take all of their maps and put it in an interactive form. So let's go to Paddleplanner and go to the map and see what that looks like. So here is the map, and I'm going to make it full screen here. The boundaries here are just the park proper. As I said, there are a lot of parks surrounding it, and I found that, I'm just going to put the Wabakimi borders because then it just got way too busy. But this map covers actually a lot of the surrounding area as well, not just what's inside the park map here. Now, what can this map do? I'm just going to zoom in here, and you can see after I zoom in, the campsites and portages and cabins show up. Here are some potential access points. So these green things, those are potential access points. There's not one way to access the park, and these are not the only way to do it, but these are potential ways you could get into the park. I'm going to switch this to routing mode. So I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to click on my starting spot right there. And then where do I want to go? Where's my destination? I'm just going to pick a random spot here on Granite Lake. And it's going to find me my route. And then if I press calculate route over here, it'll give me some information. How far is it? About how much time is it going to take me to get from my starting spot to my ending spot? In this case, 11 hours. That is based on 3 miles per hour paddling speed, and portaging time or portaging speed is 2 miles per hour. And I know this is in miles per hour. If you're more comfortable with kilometers per hour, we can change that. And I'll just do that right now. We can change settings and change it to kilometers per hour. That might be closer to 5 and 3. So there we go. About the same there. So 11 hours. And so you can see what that does there. So you can change the settings and it helps you, gives you a better idea of how long is it going to take me to get from one spot to another. I can map any spot to any other in Wabakimi or the surrounding area. And I'll just do another one here. I'll go back and clear this out. And let's say I want to start over here. I'll just click on that one. And how long is it going to take me to get up to Wabakimi Lake? And it shows me the shortest route here to get from there. And that is 19 hours and 30 minutes to get there. Of course, you're probably not going to be doing that all in one day. So you're saying, well, can I set a campsite in the middle there and figure out how long is it going to take me on day 1, day 2, day 3? And the answer is yes, you can. And this is what I call multi-point routing inside of Paddleplanner here. Let me edit this route. Okay. So let's say my first day I'm planning on staying on the Flint River. I'm going to change that to that campsite. Actually, what I'm going to do here is down here I have this normal route point and segment. Segment is what allows me to break it up into days. So I'll just do that. And that's set it there. And now if I press calculate, what's going to show up in the little corner here is a couple of route segments. So to that first campsite on the Flint River, that is going to be 9 hours. And then from that Flint River campsite to Wabakimi Lake is 10.5 hours. So that's, again, based on that paddling speed of 5 5 kilometers per hour and portaging speed of 3 kilometers per hour. And this is double portaging, so you can set that to single, double, triple, whatever you want for number of portage trips. You'll also notice here there's loading and unloading time, and that's, it takes time at a portage to load and unload the canoe. I'm not sure if I should be saying the portage American version or portage the Canadian French version, but since I live in Minnesota, I'll keep saying portage. And there's a lot of portages on this route, so those 10 minutes per portage really add up, and you can see that's 4 hours spent loading and unloading a canoe. One thing to note is if you are going to be doing this multi-point routing, so more than beginning to end, you have to have a paid membership on Paddleplanner. It is free to go from one point to any other, but if I want to put more than 1 point in, like I just did, or if you want to create a loop, you're going to have to pay the membership fee. Currently, that is $20 per year for unlimited use of the website. What are some other things I can do with the route finder? This is definitely the most popular feature, is how long does it take me to get from one point to another. Again, I can change these settings to whatever I need them to be. For example, if I'm leading a youth group, I'm going to make this much less. I doubt there's going to be many youth groups in Wabakimi, but in our other areas, for example, the Boundary Waters, that's definitely a big demographic, are the youth groups. So I have used this. I have led Boy Scout groups in the Boundary Waters and the Quetico. And when I'm planning for them, I make this a lot less. So I might make it 3 kilometers per hour and 2 kilometers portaging speed. And so when I'm doing that, I definitely make it less. Make sure that you adjust this to whatever in your experience is your paddling and portaging speed. That being said, I do want to bring up the warning here for Wabakimi. And that Wabakimi is not, if you've never been to a real wilderness area, and Boundary Waters might not be considered a real wilderness area, it's going to be different. These portages and campsites, they're harder to find. They might not even exist anymore. And so you always have to take the information here with a grain of salt. If I'm not mistaken, like some of these portages, they might have been cleared 5 or 10 years ago, and things grow very quickly up in the boreal forest. And sometimes the only way you can know something is there by some blazes on trees or something, and otherwise you might not find the path at all. And that also means that your portaging speed would be affected. Like, it takes a lot longer. You're going a lot more slowly. So one of the major things when using the Wabakimi map is maybe go into the settings and adjust that portaging speed way down, just to get a more accurate feel of how long is this going to take me, because that's probably the thing that will take you a lot longer. I also have more details on this map in particular, the differences between this one and all of my other ones. Campsites, portages, access points, just a lot of different things here. So that you probably should know before you use this map. Okay, so that's the route finder. Is there anything that you'd like to see on that?
Some folks still might be muted, Ben. You could make a note that the very bottom left-hand corner is the reference to the volume of route maps that we have.
Yep, I will be showing that. So when you calculate a route, there's a lot of other information that comes up, not just the, so here's the results of the calculation. Down here, I also have, here we don't I don't have any outfitters specified on the map yet in Wabakimi, but once we do, we'll get those up there. There's potential campsites along the route. So like if I click on this, it'll zoom in. And as more people use this map, they will add campsite reviews. Like I'll just go into this one. You can add a review or a description of the campsite right here. And as more people use the map, they'll put in campsite descriptions so that you can see what do I expect at this campsite. It just makes things a little bit easier to plan and your expectations.
Can we add a picture with the campsite yet?
Yes, you can add pictures.
How does that work?
Well, right here, I right clicked here. So
Okay.
I right click and you can press add photo.
There it is. Okay.
So you can do that.
Okay.
Or actually anywhere on the map. I can add a photo that's in the middle of the lake as well.
Okay.
I have I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to go to the Boundary Waters map. That has tons of information that people have put in over the last 10 years. So it makes it a little bit easier to show that kind of stuff. Sometimes the photo get a little overwhelming, as you can see, but yeah, so lots of photos.
Well, the photo thing is really cool. I really like being able to look at an area and see those pictures.
And if you have a route, I'll just do a route here. The different information that you can get on a route. So for example, campsites along this route, it shows you how many tent pads, the average star rating. Again, take the star rating with a grain of salt. One person's 5 stars, another person's 2 star. I found that out going on a Boundary Waters trip. Someone said this is the best campsite in all the Boundary Waters, and I got there and it's like, nope, not for me. And I took like a 1.5 mile portage to get there, and like, okay, well, I'll just it was a nice campsite, just I wouldn't say best campsite in all of the Boundary Waters. I always take that star rating with a grain of salt. The information I really like to know, especially if I'm with a group, is how many tents can I put there? That's usually an important thing. Lakes along the route, so it'll give you more detailed lake information there. I like the portages. It gives you the length of the portages. I am in the process of changing these from rods to rods/meters or just meters. This did start in the Boundary Waters, my whole website. And in the Boundary Waters, we use rods. Everywhere else, we use meters. So I'm still in the process of switching that over. I'll get to the maps covering the route when we go back to Wabakimi. But the one I wanted to get to is the photos near the route. So you'll be able to kind of see the photos from like beginning to finish of that route. If people have added photos, you can see along the route. These are, hey, those are my kids.
Cool.
That one was a few years ago, actually. They're a little older now. But this one has 84 pictures, so there's a lot of photos. Very popular entry point there. As you can see, when we run the photos for a Wabakimi route, there aren't any yet. But as more people use the website and upload photos and things like that, this will become more useful for planning purposes. Of course, one of the joys and of wilderness, like going up to Wabakimi, is exploring. So some people love, the detailed planning beforehand, and some people just like going and discovering. Either way is great. This tool is just to help you plan as much as you want your trip. And so people use it in different ways. Some of the other things, as Dave was alluding to, were the map volumes. And I'm just going to go to, if it'll let me here. There we go. Is which volume are you supposed to use if I'm planning a trip from like Caribou Lake up to Whitewater? Which map volumes do I need to get from the Friends of Wabakimi? And they do have a guide here. Here's the guide, but I found that that is an approximate guide when I was putting these together. It's very approximate. Sometimes they overlap, and so it's hard to figure out exactly which volumes do I need to get. And so when I put my map together, I made it more detailed on what I'm supposed to do. So for this one, I said like Caribou Lake, so that was Caribou's somewhere down here. Oh, there's Caribou. Oh. So like, oh. I just want to do normal here. So Caribou Lake to, if I wanted to go up to Whitewater. What maps should I get? And one of the pieces of information here is maps covering the route. And if I click on this, it'll show me volume 1 covers this area. Volume 3 covers that area. And volume 5 covers that one. So if I'm looking at this, I'm probably trying to get map volume 3 and volume 1 would be the ones that I would want.
Okay.
The other thing, I don't have to calculate a route to get that information. I can just click somewhere, and down in the lower left, it shows me which volumes cover that particular point on the map. So I'll just click on volume 3, and it shows me what area does volume 3 cover.
I can't raise a hand. You won't know when I'm
We're on
talking.
mute.
No, we're not. I'm on
Oh, I hear, is that Maurice?
I got a question, Ben.
Sure.
Are the, what am I trying to, drainage, like, what am I trying to say? The drainage patterns,
River flow.
the flow of the rivers, are they articulated on your planning map?
No, they are not. However, I might be able to change the background so that they are. Does this one have it? I'm going to hide those maps. Trying to remember if the Canada topo maps show that or not. Not really. So that just shows, I guess, one more thing. Some of these show more information than others.
So do you have all these different maps loaded into your system?
Yeah, these are backgrounds, and wherever I can find a background, it's
Oh, okay. And then the portages kind of overlay on top of that background?
yeah, so the portages I put in. The background, this background comes from it's Canada's, now I don't remember what it's called, but some department, their geomapping service. I'm not sure if this one works anymore. They kind of changed things up, so that one doesn't work anymore. But this is like if you get a topo map, this is kind of what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I made my own background, and that's the default right here, but you can choose any other ones. So there's satellite. That one's really dark on here, but so there is some satellite versions. So you do it. This is kind of the same thing there. So different options for you to change the background. How I got there was I went up to this menu button, and that's one of the background, so I can change that. Also in these options, I can turn things on and off. Unlike the Boundary Waters map, some people don't like seeing all of these photo icons, so they go and turn off those photos just to make it a cleaner looking map. So that they can do that as well. All right.
Ben, what about on rivers? Are you showing where the rapids are?
I do not have the rapids. I thought about adding like little lines, but I'm hoping that, well, first of all, most rapids have a portage around them. So that kind of gives a clue. But I'm hoping that people go get your map volumes that show the actual rapids where they are. You can't plan a complete Wabakimi trip with just Paddleplanner. Let's see. However, let's see if Canada topo maps show that. They kind of do here. I don't know if that's like a rapid symbol there. It might be. So if you do change this to the Canada topo map background, it looks like they have they have some rapid symbols there. So that would help you. Let's see, where else would there be rapids?
Up on the Albany River, possibly.
Oh yeah, lots on the Albany River. So let's go up there. The Canada topo background takes a while to load sometimes. Their server is a little slow.
Oh, I see. So you're actually pulling down the information from their site and then
Yeah.
layering on top of it. Okay.
Yep, I am.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, there's some rapid symbols. So that they do have a lot of information on the Canada topo background, so that really helps. So there's that must be rapid symbol right there. And then I saw some falls over here, I think. And the pluses are submerged rocks, a lot of them along there. Of course, these maps are not complete. This is wilderness and it's not completely mapped. So there could be some surprise rocks. I guess to answer your question about the rapids, I'd use the Canada topo background to see the rapid symbols, and I think that would help you. I personally did not map the rapids, but I think Canada has most of those mapped themselves.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to switch back to the default background, but we can switch back and forth. Okay, I want to get back to some extra route finder stuff. The route finder that most people use is how long is it going to take me to get from one point to another? But I can also do it backwards, meaning, I have 8 hours to travel in a day, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is, 4, 6, 8. How far can I get in 4 hours? So let's take a look at that. And I'm just going to, for example, I wanted to start at Caribou Lake, and then I wanted to go, this one's kind of buried right now, so I have to go into my route finder here, and I'll change this to 4 hours. So this is based on my current settings. So I have to check this. Let's change that. Oops, not sure what happened there. I accidentally pressed something. All right, so let's change this back to 5 and portage speed of 3. So based on those settings, how far can I get in 6 hours? So I'll change this to 6 and I'll press find route area. And all of the, right now they're magenta colored. So all of the magenta colored circles, they're within 6 hours of my starting point. So my starting point was down here on Caribou Lake.
Where's magenta?
All of these purple spots. I can change that to black. So all of those spots that are covered in black right now are how far I can get within 6 hours. So that could help me also plan out a day's worth of travel. Or if I want to change this to 4, I can do that as well. So, if I want to plan on 4, this is how far I could get in 4 hours. And I'll just hide that again. So again, that's kind of the backwards route finder. Instead of how long does it take from one point to another, it's, well, I have a set amount of time, how far can I get? So I can do that as well. After I calculate a route, this is a semi-popular feature. I'm just going to zoom in, and so this was like the 4-hour one. Yeah, 4 hours, 1 minute to that campsite. After I do that, I can download a GPX file. This is again, this one is also a paid membership feature. So I can download the GPX file. And then I can use that in a GPS. I don't really use GPSs much other than to look at it after I'm done. Like I have it running when I'm when I'm paddling, but I never look at it. My screen is actually so scratched up, I can't look at it. I just plug it into my computer after I'm done and then get information from that. But for those that do like to use a GPS, you can get a GPX file downloaded with your route on it. But mostly this Paddleplanner is for planning, not for navigation. And why do I say that? Well, I have found that sometimes there are islands here that aren't shown on the map, and so things might not appear exactly, on the ground as they would here. But if you do like a GPS, you can get a GPX file.
What I really like is the comments that people make about portages. So when I'm looking at a route in Quetico or the Boundary Waters, for example, I go look at the portages and I'll actually copy people's comments. So I know a lot more about portages because I think that's the most, challenging part for me. Portages that are lots of up and down or have slippery rocks or big step downs or things like that. And then I like to see the pictures too, if they have them.
Yeah, portage comments are definitely, especially for an area like this, they would be very valuable. And I'll show you something about that. You can see if I hover over this, I actually have this one in meters, but I don't have it completely everything switched over to meters yet. I'll click on this, and this is also a paid feature. You can see the elevation chart.
This is where you don't have the picture part yet in the portage comments.
You can add a picture.
Can you?
Like I'll right click here and add a
Okay.
photo.
Oh, but you can't add it within the portage comments.
No.
Okay, but you can add it straight to the. Okay, that's good to know.
So because I have it, you should right click on approximately where it is.
Right.
So like if it's at the end, right click on the end of the portage and press
photo.
Add photo.
Okay, that's good.
All right, so again, a paid feature is this this elevation graph, and you can see this is this is southwest to northeast. So it's starting at the south and going north. And you can see that it from south to north, it's going uphill for the most part. And this is approximate. You can see this is based on Canadian GIS data and their elevation data. So this is only as good as what their elevation models show. Also, these portage locations are approximate because I mostly copied these from, for the most part, were copied from the maps, and these are approximate as well. So I don't have exact paths on here. One of the limitations of the Wabakimi map. For some of my other areas, I do have GPS tracks. If anybody has actual GPS data for portages, I can replace it and put it into the map here to get a more accurate representation of everything. This map has only been on Paddleplanner for 2.5 months, so I put it up on January 1st. Some people have added some comments. Let's see if I can find one. There's someone with the username dad6 that had added a few. And there it is. So this is a campsite. I knew it had a comment because it was red instead of pink. That's how I distinguish between the two. So you can see his comments. Few people stop here, grass growing in the ring, nice landing. I like this. This was the end of day 1 of 10 without seeing another person. And has a comment here on the portage. Went through during record high water. A large section of the portage was underwater and created many challenges to get to the end. So comments like that might be valuable. I don't rate portages on a star rating because I don't find that of much use to anybody. I think comments are better than, how difficult is this for me? Okay. And I'll just show this because some people like this. I've never really actually used this much myself, but it might be better if I show it on the Boundary Waters map. So I have this this route mapped out. Route movie. And when everybody says that they use this, I'm always surprised because I can't believe anyone uses it, but I'll just show you what it's like. So
I've gotten kind of a charge out of it myself.
So little canoe goes along the path and it shows you the photos that are at about that point in the route. So you can see that this could take a while to, if it's a really long route, it will take a while to get through the entire thing. But so some people do like to use that feature. It's really experimental, and I just put it in for fun one day.
Isn't there a way to like speed up the canoe a little bit?
Yeah, let's see.
Make him paddle
There we go.
faster. There we go.
You can paddle a little bit faster there. Oh, there's my wife. I've gone in that entry point a few times. There's my kids. More of my kids. Oh, there's Rohan's first fish. All right. That's
a really fun little feature. So
I think that's pretty much it for the route finder. Before I move on to other features. All right, so we talked about clicking on the map and you can get the map volume. We also talked about adding campsite reviews. If you, once you register on the site, which is free, registering is free. I'll hide that. Where's a campsite? There we go. If you're signed in on the website, you can click on a campsite and add a rating. So you just fill out this. If you want to add a photo, you can right click on it. I don't quite have a add photo button. I should probably put that on here. Actually, I'm not going to do it because we're coming out with a new site that has that feature already. So you can add a rating in here and then it will show up. You can keep it private if you want. I've done that a few times on my special campsites that I don't want other people to know it, but I want to keep a record for myself. So I make the rating private. Same with portage comments. So you can add that, your comments. One thing I do have in here for those that like the fishing, I pulled the fish information from Ontario. So if I click on the lake here, it has a list of all the campsites on the lake, the portages that are going in or out of the lake, and a list of the fish species, at least according to Ontario, that are in the lake. So this one has sturgeon, trout, whitefish. Again, only as accurate as what the data from Ontario said, but that information is there as well.
So you assigned a number to all these different campsites?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Did the system kind of do that automatically for you?
I just every time I added one, I just added a number to it.
Okay.
So for the most part, like this should be like 223. This is 222. Sometimes I got a little out of order because like map sheets were, they weren't in order. So like this one, you would think it'd be like 220, but it's 141. I've considered like changing the naming scheme, and I'd be open to possibilities. Like if you want to name these campsites something else.
Not really.
Like the Quetico, they do have names, not really, but it was a kind of a traditional naming scheme from the person who kept the campsite data before me. And they had a naming scheme, so I kind of kept that naming scheme up. All of my other, Sylvania has a naming scheme. Like Boundary Waters, it was just the order of the campsites in the file. That's all it was. Other things that you can do, you can share this map. So for example, if I wanted to share this route with somebody, I'll change this route a little bit. And I want to share this map with somebody, I can go into here and it's the little share linked map. I'll do that. And it gives me a URL. Here's the full URL. If you don't want to copy that whole thing, here's a short one. It's the same thing, just shorter and easier to copy. So if I do that, and then I open up a new tab and send this to somebody and they click on it, it will take them to that. So easy to share maps and routes and things like that. If you have a multi-point route like I did here, so this one had more than one stop along the way, and you send that to somebody, they don't need to be a paid member to be able to see that route. So it'll just calculate it for them. For you to create the routes, you need to have a paid membership. Another thing you can do if you have a blog or a website or something is to embed a map. I can put a map on my own website that has this on it. I'll just show you like a preview of this. If I wanted a little square map that had a picture of Smooth Rock Lake. And so people would be able to scroll on your own website, these maps that you put up there. A lot of different options like static map is scroll at all, and it's basically just a picture. Like I'm trying to drag right now, but I can't. So I'll right click here and like center here, and then that should change so you should be able to see the route there now. So you can get that how you want and then embed it on your website if you would like to do something like that. Another thing, this is a pretty popular feature. I use this one all the time. It's exporting the map to an image. It's hard to print websites, or at least this, because this doesn't fit nicely on a piece of paper. I put this in kind of for myself. If I wanted to print this to like a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 11 inches, standard paper size in the US, I can do this, and I'll export it to an image. Now I can just print the photo rather than try to, I can always take a screenshot, and people do that. You can take a screenshot. It's just hard to get a full paper size image of a map. And I do that. Again, I don't use these for navigation. I always buy a different map, but I can make notes for campsites and portages and so on my printed version. Yeah, one thing you can do on this, especially in the boundary waters, this is valuable. I can show campsite ratings or number of tent pads. This one I could show campsite numbers. This one doesn't have any ratings on it, but you can kind of see what would happen if I wanted to get that information on here. It would have like little labels next to it that would then print for me. A few other options on there as well that you can play with. The export to image feature is a paid feature. If you're using the free version, go ahead and feel free to take screenshots. That's fine too. If you do want the labels to show up, that's under this menu button, other options, show campsite labels. And you can see there are some of the rated campsites. Here's a 4-star one. So sometimes when I'm planning, I do like turning on those campsite labels because it's easier to see, like if I'm looking for campsites that have, multiple tent pads or something. Again, a little bit more relevant for maybe the boundary waters and the Quetico, but as this map gets more information, that will become more valuable. One other thing I saw in here that someone asked me to add, and it was pretty easy, so I just did it. If you like UTM coordinates, notice down here when you click somewhere on the map, it gives you latitude and longitude. Someone asked me, well, can I get UTM coordinates instead? And I tried it out, pretty easy to do. So now I click on it and it gives me UTM instead. So small little feature, little hidden in there. You might not know about it if I didn't tell you.
Ben, what are UTM coordinates?
That is Universal Transverse Mercator Projection Coordinates. It's a military map. They created it during World War II for the military. I think it was World War II. I could be wrong. But it's easier to do math, like try to figure out how far something is and right angles and whatever. It works better than other map projections, and it has a different coordinate system.
Got it.
All right, getting down to the end here, we do have some downloads. They're actually on a separate page, so let's go to the downloads page. If you like working with Google Earth, you can download a KMZ file that loads into Google Earth. It has all of the information that is on this map. So it has campsites, portages, park boundaries, lake information. All of that is in a KMZ file. We also have GPX files of all the campsites and the ends of the portages. So again, everything here is approximate. I was copying things from paper maps and things might be off a little bit. But it should give you an idea of where to look, or at least a starting point. So if you do like working with GPX files, those are available here as well. Well, that's a rundown of the major features of this map. Is there anything you want to ask?
And have you had much feedback from people yet about this?
Feedback. This Wabakimi was the most requested map for me to add for years, and so I was ecstatic when I was able to contact you and we were able to work together to get this going. Even though there's not many people that visit, we're hoping that more people visit because information is more accessible and it's not as scary. I know personally for myself, trying to plan a trip to Wabakimi was scary. And going through all of this and seeing that there is information available. Yes, it is a little bit harder to plan a trip than to the boundary waters, but it can be done. It's not impossible. Other than that, not a whole lot of feedback yet, other than people saying, thanks for adding it.
And you have a trip report forum too. I've been meaning to try and put up at least one or two reports on your forum.
So I do. Most of them are this. If you do, and what I wanted to do was, I know Friends of Wabakimi has a lot of trip reports on their site. I was going to try to create direct links from Paddleplanner over to Friends of Wabakimi. Until I am able to do that, what you can do, let's see if I can find Tippy Canoe. He does this all the time. He just did so he just links, some people even just put a link to, they create a trip report, they enter all the information, and then you just put a link to where it's stored somewhere else. And that's perfectly okay. You don't need to copy everything over to Paddleplanner. Just a link is fine. And that will get it over here. And I'll show you what this does. For example, entry point 38, if I go there, has a list of trip reports that started there. Beth Lake, I can click on a lake and it will show me a list of trip reports of people that went through that lake. I know the Wabakimi trip reports are extremely detailed, have great information, more so than I think any other area I've seen. Just super detailed information that you need to plan a trip. So getting that stuff linked will be very valuable.
Yes. Our trip report forum is fairly new too. Yes.
Well, to end this, I just wanted to give you a preview of the new site, and I'm hoping to get this up by April 3rd. Why April 3rd? Well, that's my exact 10-year anniversary of when I first registered the domain name. So that's my goal, is April 3rd. Hopefully I can do it. This is not using the live database yet, so it looks like I had to reload. So this first time, like usually the site loads very fast, but no one uses this. So it's like starting the website right now. So I'll just take a little bit, go over here and just explore a little bit. One thing I loved about this whole project is the variety. I mean, there's river trips, there's lake trips, there's just all sorts of different things. And as I was going through trip reports, sometimes there was an area where I was trying to find more information, and just finding some of the trip reports, and a lot of them were saying, haven't seen a soul in 7 days. It was just awesome, things like that. Here is going to be the new site. Hey, look, that's just coincidence that your logo came up there. Algonquin is a popular map. I don't even have a link yet to the Wabakimi. It's on here, but I just have to type it in. So this is the new site. Oh, I need to fix a few things there. But this should be a lot easier to use, I'm hoping, in the future. You just click, and it brings up all the information. I can make that a day end. Click over there. And then that's day 2. If I click on here, that'll show me day 1. So this is just a preview of hopefully what it will be in a few weeks. Or at least you'll have an option. I'm going to run them in parallel for a while because this new site is just kind of beta right now. So I'm still testing it out, still trying to hook everything up together. But I'm hoping in a few weeks it'll be good enough that people will be able to use it while I continue to move features over and information over.
Ben, I wanted to ask you if you have a tutorial on your website for people to go through to learn how to use this. Or is it
On
pretty
the
well
new
just
site,
intuitive?
kind of. Let's see here. If this, don't know if I'll be able to do it here. When you first log on, there's this pop-up that shows up. Watch the short video. That's very basic. That just shows you how to do a route, basically. I try to keep it very short. So, I mean, over the past hour, we went over everything that Paddleplanner does. And this is the very basics. The new site will have, I don't think I have it. Did it pop up here? It did not pop up. And it's a different type of tutorial. It'll walk you through how to do a route and things like that. It'll have like pointers and things. Let's see if I can get that popped up here. There we go. So the new tutorial will be something like this. Right now, it's just a video of me walking through. This will walk you through how to search for a location. And so say like, go here. And
I'm not sure we're seeing the same thing that you're showing there.
oh,
We have,
yeah, I'm sharing the wrong screen. That's fine. Now can you see it? I'm moving the
there we
map
go.
around.
That's it.
Okay. Let's try to reload that, see if the tutorial pops up. Tutorial did not pop up. Anyway, it's just some boxes saying do this, do that, and let's try it again. No, it's registering that I already visited the website. So it pops up the first time and then it's hidden.
Okay,
for
I just
now.
want to know that if I refer people to your website, that I could tell them there is a tutorial.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a, yeah, as I said, that's a simple tutorial. Let me go back here. That's the right one. Hope so. Yeah, so there's a video that will pop up when they visit. It will only pop up the first time, so if they miss it, they kind of have to reload the site. Well, thanks for letting me show you all of this.
Well, thank you. It's just a tremendous amount of versatility. And even though I've used your site, I've learned a couple new things today, things I didn't know before. There's so many features to this, it's almost hard to keep track of all of them. I especially like the going in and looking at the different map backgrounds. I think that'll be
yep.
particularly useful.
I think especially for up here, like the rapids and things like that. So
the other thing is if you've ever seen the park's official map, the white lined routes within the park apparently are maintained on a more regular basis. They have some First Nation crews that go through supposedly every couple years. So those routes would have more maintenance, whereas our Crown Land routes outside the park are the ones that don't get any regular maintenance and rely on volunteers to kind of bring along the saw and keep them open.
right, and I wonder if there'll be a way for me to specify that.
Yeah. So
right now I don't.
Right. So you would need to have the green park official map to see those white lined routes. So they wouldn't.
Which I have.
Aha, you have that map. That's good.
Yes, it's right here.
Yes.
There's the official park map.
Yes. So
yeah, there's not just one tool that you need to plan these.
Very versatile tool you have, and you have a really very strong user list for Quetico and the boundary waters, and so it's just a tremendous amount of people that have an access to this Wabakimi information now through your site.
I hope so. And the more people it can get up there, the more advocates that the area will have.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions for Ben from our group here? No. Well, Ben, thank you very much. I think I'll close down the recording now. Oh, there.
All right.
It's been good. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I found it very informative.
Well, thanks.
Okay. Let's see here. I think I stop recording.